My clothes have been sticking to my skin like with a lot of force for the last 48 hours. It is so hot here. I feel like I'm sucking air through a straw. I've been enjoying a brief stint in Mexico. I've been living in Mexico City. With only a few days left in my tenure here, I took a spontaneous trip to capitalize on a dream that a lot of people in my age cohort have, I think, but that I've been nurturing for probably the last 4 or 5 years. I thought I was finally ready to capitalize on it. I saw a good opportunity, and I went a little crazy. My dream, which a ton of people my age have, is to own land and like a little tiny house or a cabin, some little retreat to get away from the world and reconnect with myself and with nature. By no means is this an uncommon dream, but I, like a lot of people, had it. My notes down here are covered in ants, as am I, probably, based on just judging by the last 2 days. I think every ant on this island I'm on has bitten me at least twice. It's kind of interesting. They like bite you and just kind of flip up and twirl around like they're trying to burrow into your skin. It's really fun stuff. So I've been living in Mexico City. When I was walking through the Parque España, or Mexico, Parque Mexico, I came across a flyer. This flyer was very enticing. It was for a plot of land that was relatively affordable. For beachfront land, it had a picture of this strip of beach sandwiched between a lagoon and the ocean. It was like a beautiful aerial picture, and the price was not horrible. And I saw that, I snapped the picture, and I called them. I was like, hey, I gotta know more about this. The call went really well. I got good vibes, which shouldn't be the primary metric when making a major life and financial decision like buying land, but it was enough for me to go a bit crazy and be like, hey, because I'm leaving Mexico in a few days. I was like, hey, I'm gonna fly down there. I'm gonna journey there. I'm gonna see it for myself. And it has been quite the journey to get here. I had to take a flight, to take a bus to another city, to arrange a private taxi to take me more or less to the island, and then I had to have a boat take me across the lagoon to get to this island. I don't think I've slept in like 3 days because it's so goddamn hot. But after all was said and done, I did arrive here. I arrived to a place called Boca del Cielo. All I have to sleep in is a little tent with a fan, which is not sufficient for me. I've been clinging to that thing for dear life. Also, I totally forgot that bug spray existed. I was bitten so many times the first night. Last night I decided to sleep in my clothes, like pants, shirt, despite it being like 88 degrees Fahrenheit and humid. Somehow I still woke up with like 100 more bites. It's not all sunshine and rainbows here. Actually, it is all sunshine so far. Probably if you're in the middle of the island, it's like a 2-minute walk to either side to the lagoon or the beach. And then there's like a towering tropical mountain range. It is so cool. It's a very unique place. The beach is a little dirty. I don't think there's even enough people living here to really clean it up or care. I'm not sure the local people care that much. All said and done, this is a pretty spectacular place, aside from the liquefying humidity, which maybe isn't so bad if you get used to it, but I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it at all. Just getting here was an adventure in itself, and it was so fun. It's definitely not the vibe for everyone. It's not Cancun, which I don't like at all, really. But for me, the adventurous aspect was like part of what made it so cool. It really struck me when I got here, like, oh my God, this, aside from the heat, which I could probably get used to, it's like, man, this place is pretty perfect. This place isn't developed at all. There's like nothing here. There's just a few palapas on the beach. It feels like Mexico 30 years ago. It's really spectacular. I'm laying in this hammock and I'm looking up at this jungle canopy, and I can hear the Pacific Ocean in the background, and it's the most meditative thing ever. It's so incredible. Also, there are wild chickens running around, and I like that very much. A local guy, friend that showed me around, he picked me up in his boat yesterday morning. I felt just like Indiana Jones. I don't have any footage. I have some really bad photos from my $100 Samsung potentially knockoff camera. We went hacking through the mangroves a little bit, came to the land. There were some posts to delineate the plots. We were so close to the ocean. I couldn't believe I could potentially have more or less beachfront land, like a minute walk to the ocean for, you know, a relatively affordable price of $20,000. A lot of money. I'll get to my financial situation in a second. But, you know, it's a lot of money, but for beachfront land, like, 2 things hit me at once. One, I was lucky to be even seeing this place. and it was so cool. And I really wanted it. I really wanted to build a little palapa there, my long dreamed of retreat. And then another thing hit me like a freight train that really had gone a little crazy, and I was not ready for this at all. I am not at a time of my life where I should be buying land. In fact, I don't even have the money. I could put a down payment on it, but I have no job right now. I have no career. I have nothing to fall back on. I'm going to my grandparents' house to live this summer, to work in some restaurant out there to hopefully save up a bit of money, which I even factored that into my land decision. But even then, I'd be dead broke afterwards. I could feasibly do it, but it hit me. You're really not in a situation to do this at all. And even then, there's building costs to consider, right? The land hasn't been cleared, there's no amenities. So it just hit me like, okay, I got it a little over my head. To be honest, I felt pretty silly. I felt a bit stupid. It cost me a decent amount of money to take this trip. I came here with the general idea that I might want to buy this little plot of land. And when I got here, it was an expensive ticket to the truth, basically. I just realized I'm not ready for this at all. I'm gonna lay down. I cut off at the painful realization here. Not in Mexico anymore. I don't know how evident that is. I'm at my grandparents' house on the Oregon coast now. I'm so happy to be in this more northern climate. This parcel of land was a big, shiny object. It really blinded any faculties of reason I had left in this feeble mind of mine. What was interesting and a little scary to me is it was how easy I was able to shift my mindset to accommodate what I thought I wanted, to accommodate this reality I imagined for myself. Having this little retreat on the Mexican coast where I could tunnel into my solitude and read and write and go on long walks on the beach in the morning and the evening. Even though I can do that here on the Oregon coast if I visit my grandparents. It was really essentially kind of an illusion. I still hope to have something like this in the future. I'm not saying it's ever going to happen, given the way things are going. But it's just way too early. And frankly, it's pointless for me to have something like that right now. Let's see if this analogy works. It was like a beautiful beaded curtain. Beautiful beaded curtain, this cabin, this palapa in Mexico. And then when I took a step back, when I got down to Mexico, it was as if I kind of parted that curtain. And I saw what was behind it. And what was behind it were the motives behind the image. I wanted a place to create, to consume meaningful ideas, to consume meaningful stuff, and to create meaningful stuff. That was the impulse behind it. I wanted a place to do that, a physical kind of manifestation of that. When really all that can come from pretty much anywhere, especially in the modern age. Really it just comes from, here and here, within you. Buying, investing, maybe might have been a horrible investment in that land. It would have been a bad financial decision, especially in this light. I've since flipped it around to look at what money I do have as creative capital. And I'm now planning on this next year of being very flexible, kind of light and minimalist and creative and productive. The financial ship is sinking. That is certainly true. I'm going to be treading water soon enough. The boat is slowly sinking. But even if I go underwater, I'll have died doing what I wanted to do. The moral of the video, I think, is to invest in yourself, to live in a way that fulfills you while cutting through the noise and opportunities that don't really get you where you want to go. This was barely an opportunity. There's no feasible way I should have bought that land or put a down payment down or whatever. The point is invest in yourself. I believe in you. Still working on believing in myself, but we're getting there. And if you're working on anything interesting or creative or that means something to you, whether it be a book or a coffee shop or running a marathon, I'd like to hear about it. Feel free to drop a line in the comments. Thank you for being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. I can't reach the camera.